Yes, one of the points that I've made a few times is how we are making an offering that's not about willing something to happen or forcing something to change, but rather using this as an opportunity to hold space for one another, to be in a space for healing to happen, to create a container for transformation. And so, while we do the techniques and they definitely touch the physical body, they touch the muscles, they release muscles, they improve circulation, they open joints, they promote a healthy flow of energy in the body. More importantly, this quality of touch that we emphasize so much makes the body feel safe so that the natural healing processes of the body can switch on. And this comes very much from the osteopathic approach, and is why we often say the more contact, the better. So before we begin, we'll just do a quick review of the approach that we're using today, which is a diagnostic approach. It's to observe the body in the way that it is presented to us and to notice the symmetries and asymmetries from one side to the other, so that as we're working, we're feeling and noticing the difference from right side, left side, and so forth. Okay. So before I begin, I'm just going to take a moment to center myself. And this is a reminder for me to enjoy the practice of giving, to feel good in my body as I make the offering. And now, as I open my eyes, the first thing that I notice with Sean is that his hips seem a little bit more to one side. His legs seem pretty even. His upper body seems pretty even, and I notice that his breath is pretty steady. So that's just kind of what I'm noticing without much specificity. His head's turned a little bit that way. And I'm just going to begin with hands on the feet. Make my first touch with firmness and gentleness. And then as I make the first contact, I also pay attention to what changes. So the first thing that I notice is his breath has gotten a little bit deeper and a little bit slower. All with just a single touch. Right there. I'm going to create the metronome here. As I palm the feet, I'm going to roll the feet to articulate the movement of the tops of the feet especially. So I let the feet roll under my hands. And I'm going to be using my thumbs as well. So here I'll be using my thumb joint, thumb pad, and trying to get the thumb very much in line with my forearm, so that as I apply pressure, that there is a efficient angle that I'm using with my thumb following the line of my forearm. And in that way, I can ensure that I put the least amount of stress on the thumb. We don't do a ton of thumb techniques in this style, precisely because you would wear out your thumbs. So you need to, be moderate in using the more delicate parts of the body. And then when we use elbows, knees, we can be generous in our body weight and be pretty liberal in using those tools. So here I'm walking along the inner edge of the foot with my thumbs to the big toe mound and back to the inner heel. And then I'm going to crawl in a little bit closer. One arm at a time, I use my whole forearm to wrap the foot internally. I catch under the ankle. Generous contact. And then here I'm just going to create a little bit of movement in the hip joint. So I'm rotating the feet like windshield wipers, and I might just rotate to see how his whole hip moves. Very different from forearm R's, who I worked on in the morning. So definitely he's got more mobility in his lower spine. And then I'm going to crawl in a little bit closer so that I get his feet in touch with my belly, like so. I like to lean forward on the exhale, supporting the heels and pressing the feet into flexion. So you can repeat that multiple times. You can also do it with the hands cupped over the tops of the feet, like so. Very nice. Keeping this connection with the feet at the belly, I slide my hands to the knees. I support the knees and I walk forward. So my belly is actually driving. Here, I just support his ankles and I'm going to come to a half kneeling position. And I just let his legs rest on my thigh, like so that I can get comfortable. In this position, it's easy for me to reach the arms. I give a little bit of traction, and then I'm going to use the finger pads over the tops of the shoulders. And once again, I'm doing a little bit of a diagnostic here, so I'm feeling the difference between one side and the other. Noticing. Nice. So for Sean, pretty even on both sides. Can't say anything stands out very much. So I probably treat both sides pretty equally. And I continue by palming on the chest-shoulder junction here at the letting go point. If the legs ever slide in this position, it's fine. If the knees slide forward like so, because you can just continue to support the ankles and keep the legs supported. No problem. As I place my hands, I'm finding a nest each time. So this is an opportunity to practice this technique of nesting so that you can sink. We can apply even weight in both hands and just make little circles with the hips. And so my body weight comes in more full on when my shoulders are over my hands, like so. There's full power, and then it eases off a little bit. So this is a nice combination of a static technique, where we just lean into the pec minor area with a gentle oscillation. And I can feel that my rhythm is helping him to drop in a little bit deeper. From here, I repeat the first technique. And you can see I use straight arms and I lean with my body. So my fingers, they're like little hooks. Catch and feel. Like so. Very nice subtle adjustment here is to cup around the back of the head and just lengthen the back of the neck like so. Very simple, very nice. I support the heels to stand up. And in this position, I don't have to carry the weight of the legs. And I'm going to walk back and begin working on one leg at a time. So I'm going to work on his left side. I begin with hip circles. I bring his knee right over his hip. This is a review from last time. We allow the hip to open to its full range of movement, and then create a circular movement with generous support under the knee. Since he's quite relaxed here, it can be a little bit more dynamic, like so. Very good. And then from here, I'm going to step over with my left foot. So I'm perpendicular to his body. I can come into the runner's lunge, wrap my fingers over the straight leg, and I'm just giving a little bit of impulse here. keep in contact with my hands. Just a little bit of rocking. And then I'm going to come into the Russian dancer by placing my hands down. I pivot my right shin backwards, and then I come up onto the ball with my left foot. Here, I'm on hands and feet. I lift my right knee, lower my left knee, and my leg takes him into a twist. Then I'm in half kneeling. I can sit back and give a gentle, gentle twist. I'm using a lot of contact here with my forearm on the top of the thigh, my other forearm along the back, like so. So this is something that you can repeat back and forth. Back to this position. And then here. I have a pillow set up next to his head. And what I'm going to do is stay in the twist, reach across for his far arm, make a comfortable grip like so. And then I like to support the opposite shoulder as I bring him to sideline position. I have a blanket set up here for my knees. I'm going to cradle his leg right under the shin, inner knee, like so it's easy for me to lift up here. I simply come to kneeling. Letting his leg rest on my thighs. The more that I move over this way, the more his body comes towards side 2. Side position 2 is more like prone, more like belly towards the ground. And that will expose the piriformis hip flexor area on the back. So from this position, it's very easy for us to simply rest the meaty part of our forearms on the outside line, along the IT band, and just sink. This is where it's really easy to practice being lazy. My body weight shifts in, and I'm patient. For some people, this is quite tender, so you really have to start quite soft, 30%, 40%, and then take your time before you add body weight, add power. I can even feel his pulse gets a little stronger here. So I shift to a slightly different position, still using my forearms, the soft side, the underside of the forearms, hands relaxed, like so. And we can do that a few times. You can really move your arms to different parts of the leg. He's got a lot of leg to cover, so I would typically charge him more for a massage. I'm going to work the back of the hip flexor around the butt. So we have the piriformis, the boomerang of the hip going to the sacrum. And if you open your palm like so, you can feel this area of big muscles that we're going to be working on. So it's just south of the hip bone, inside of the sacrum, and also inside of where the femur comes up into the hip socket. You will feel the greater trochanter there. And you can place a soft elbow, like so, just in that area. There's 3 points that you can use as a reference. One's closer to the greater trochanter, so that's the head of the hip bone, or of the femur bone, on this side. And then if you go slightly north of that, just underneath the hip bone, you got an important phone call coming in. And then slightly closer to the midline, closer to the sacrum, 3rd point. And you can see this hand over here is a mother hand. So each of these points that I hit, if you look at my body, I'm leaning most of my body weight to where my shoulder is, to where my elbow is. So I want to actually draw energy in towards my own midline, and my shoulder is slightly past where my elbow is so that the energy is moving in this direction, which is again perpendicular to the angle of his hip. And so we can actually stay there for quite some time to do some really good therapy. Here's a great technique when you have someone who may be suffering from something like sciatica, not too extreme, but is dealing with arthritic hip or sciatica. This is a great area to work. After we're done, we have the healing balm. So we just take the palm of the hand with firm pressure and make circles. That same technique is also great if you just want to feel where to go, so that you can feel the landmarks of the hip, the sacrum, and the greater trochanter. So he's in good shape here. You can carry on. I'm going to keep his knee bent, slide my left hand underneath the shin so I have good support here. And then I literally bring the knee in towards him in order to bring him back towards supine position. So here I can use my right hand to support myself as I monkey around. And then keeping his knee supported, we learned this technique last time. I can use my upper arm, bicep, to help bring him into like a pigeon, right hip opener here. Also option, use your right hand at the top of the thigh. Okay? We bring both hands to the knee to give it lots of support. Extend the leg all the way. And then I'm going to kneel just outside his leg, place his calf on top of my thighs, and then I use the chubby part of my wrists on the outer shin to begin rocking the leg. So when we rotated the feet at the very beginning, like windshield wipers, we were looking at movement in the hip. Same thing is happening here, but the impulse is coming from the shin. So I'm rocking the shin, there's movement in the hip. I can keep that impulse with my left hand, and with my right hand I follow up. You can see the pan seam. It's more or less where you're following. I'm following the outside line. All the way up to the hip here. And at the hip flexor, I'm just going to lead my hand in a few different spots and use it as a way to feel what's happening underneath, as a way to get a better picture of what the landscape looks like under my hand here. So I feel where I meet the hip bone, the top of the thigh, and mostly quad muscles here. These are the quads that connect to the meniscus, as well as on the side, glute medius, so some of the muscles from the backs of the legs as well. And while this is more of a diagnostic to feel with the right hand, it's actually doing some therapy as well. So just by placing your hands there and doing this gentle rocking, you're doing some good therapy. So I'm going to bring it back to the work on the lower leg. And what I'm doing is pouring a lot of weight into my hands. I'm keeping that rocking going, but mostly I'm emphasizing pouring body weight straight down, and the calf rolls underneath. Really great technique to play with. From here we're going to pivot so that we face away. I roll to my right hip. You see I use my left knee to support his foot. I'm going to keep that. And then with both hands, I'm going to bring my fingers to the center line of his foot and lean back, flexing the foot. I lean with my body weight back. And you can imagine cracking a coconut open. It's that same feeling of pulling from the midline away. So you press your fingertips in and draw away from the midline. Very nice feeling, very traditional technique from the Thai massage practice. So, that's one side. We're going to repeat the second side with a little bit more flow. Come along the outside line. You can even have a soft pin on the rib cage. Russian dancer. Hands down, right knee down, left knee lifts. And we come to a gentle twist. Another way to bring your partner over is you kneel more upright, like so, and you use body weight and leverage to bring them to sideline. Just a different approach. Here I'll sneak under. Once again, cradling the opposite leg. And some of you may find that it's kind of tricky to get in there. Ideally, if this technique works for you, you can keep your knees close together and you can get their thigh quite close to your belly. So it's as if you could just lie forward and use your rib cage to do the work. I'd like to get Sean more into side two, so I'm going to walk my knees slightly away from him, roll him over. And then I'll just walk through. So here, our position on TFL. He actually really likes that, so I guess I won't walk through it as fast. Very nice, lazy technique. Very little effort, a lot of contact, good results. And most people really need this, especially the yogis, where we find that we do a lot of exercises that strengthen the outside lines. Here's soft elbow and big lazy one. Here you can see I'm really leaning into my left side. So I bring the body weight more perpendicular. And I feel like that's the most comfortable place for me to be in, the most efficient way for me to use my body weight. This kind of technique, since you're working on a big muscle group, very strong muscle group, you can stay here for quite some time. Easily 5-10 minutes, no problem. So for the demo, we're just going quite short. If you do go deep, if you stay in a point for a long time, make sure you give time coming out for the receiver to integrate. And then here we have our little band-aid, circular palming. To come out, you can cradle the foot like we did before, cradle the leg. Here I'm going to draw his knee in towards him. Give his spine a little flexion, and then I'll take him back to supine. Since Sean looks like he's cramped, I'm just going to adjust the head like I did before. Adjust the arms, top the shoulders. Little rock. This is nice little adjustments that you can do along the way. And then with a lot of support, I bring his leg onto my thighs. I'm going to adjust his opposite leg so he's more lined up. And then, once again, I create a movement that allows his whole leg to move, especially at the hip. And I follow this movement up to the hip flexor. And I'm just noticing places where I can rest my hand and offer a little bit of body weight. And so for Sean, one of the things that I notice here is on this side is that it feels to me like the quad muscle that runs along the inside of the quad is super strong on the top of the quad, maybe from the martial arts, the kicking, the front kicks, stuff like that. So what I would probably want to do if I had more time is do a specific technique to release this area of rectus femoris. Okay. Knead the dough, channel your inner grandma, make it happen, have fun with it. Here you can get some of your aggression out. How does it feel? Who likes it? Yeah. It's more fun, not so much aggressive, but fun. Maybe say playful. So I lean back, I rest his foot on my knee, and I crack the coconut. If you are smaller than your receiver and you want to get more leverage, you just adjust your body so that you get the right angles to get the most leverage. And then as we come out, I'm going to do one final harmonic technique here, just at the inner heel. So I use a very small part of my palm, but it's sort of the outside palm next to the inside of the foot. Natural fit here. And what I'm doing is creating a very gentle impulse, and I'm following the rebound. So I'm trying to really tap into his rhythm. And if you look at his head, the movement that I'm doing is traveling all the way up to his head. It's quite subtle here. Super nice. Nice, gentle, and also touches the whole body. That was good. That was good for me. So I'll finish by just resting my palms here on the feet. Have a final moment of full connection.